Hello viewer, welcome back. I'm just going to go through a few old things that I did ages ago. I got a few old bowls, and you know what it's like when you start turning, you think you've done a perfect bowl, but as time goes on you think that's so thick on the bottom, the sides, or the shape's wrong, anything. So I've got these few. Here we are. I've got an ash bowl which looked good at the time, but the bottom of it's about 3/4 of an inch thick. It could do with a bit of reprofiling. I've got this little oak bowl which I totally dislike. Little bits of epoxy infill, so I might reshape that. This thing, segmented thing, it is so thick, it's unbelievable, so I'm going to sort of reprofile that. And I've got this little another ash bowl with the copper inlay, which is totally rubbish. I say, at the time you think it's good, so I'm just going to have a go at redoing a few of these this morning. That's better. I've now got a much thinner, better shape on the outside there, much deeper, much more satisfied with that now. So I can sand that down now, put it to one side, and then decide if I want to put a bit of colour on it or a bit of pyrography. But at least it's something I can use now. So I've just got to sand that down, and then I'll get on with the next one. Now the next one is this truly terrible oak bowl, which was pretty wet I think when I turned it. It's well warped, there's cracks that actually hold, I can see right through that, appearing everywhere on it. I don't hold out much hope for this one at all, so I'm going to go very steady because it will probably fall apart, but I'll give it a go. I've got nothing to lose except a chunk of wood. That's well warped. Oh well, see what happens anyway. This could well be a throwaway. But I'm standing well out the way. Well, surprising it's still in one piece. I think I might be using a bit more epoxy on this one eventually, but I'll just try and straighten this top edge out first. And it's actually beginning to look a bit more presentable. It's quite thick. I can still take a bit more off if it holds together. That's a lot better. I'll try and take some off the inside now. Right, as you can see, that bit I could see right through. It is actually coming loose now. So it's definitely an epoxy job this is, but I'm not going to throw it away because it's something to experiment with. So, and it's about half the weight it was when I brought it in here. Alright, on to the next one. Right, this one wants like a general reprofiling. It's the bottom of it's a good ½ inch thick, maybe more. So reprofile it, make it a bit shallower, slimline looking. It's slightly warped, so it wants flattening out a bit, and generally just thin it out. That's if that doesn't fall apart. It's not very steady in this because it's warped. So I can get it a bit tighter. I don't really trust that, to be honest. So I think what I'll do with this one is put it in the button jaws and reprofile the tenon before I actually turn this one. Ah, well, a little bit more work to do. Okay, what I decided to do was I put this old bit of glue chuck in the jaws, and then I put the bowl up against it, brought the tailstock up nice and tight, and reprofiled this mortise. So now I'm back to the big chuck. And that's much safer, there's no wobble in that at all now. So now I can get on with what I was going to do. Well out of shape, but I've got plenty of thickness to work on. I'm going at 500 revs until I've got this back into a circular shape. As you can see, it's taking it out here. It hasn't touched this bit yet, this side. And then I'll speed it up once I've got the perfect round. I think that wants a bit of a sharpen. Won't be a minute. Try again. Wow, what a difference. Very quick touch up on the CVN wheel. I love that CVN wheel. What a difference that makes. I wish I'd have had the camera running for that one. Mega disaster. It's split in half basically. Just a bit. You can see the crack right along this sort of quarter of the bowl came off. But the mortise stayed intact. That held, and that was still in the jaws. So I haven't given up on it. I've just glued it back together and clamped it up, and I shall work on that another day. But these things happen. Right, the fourth one is this absolutely horrible thing. It weighs an absolute ton. It's about ½ an inch thick. The base is even thicker. I'm going to have to try and mount this in the button jaws and put a tenon in the end because that's all flat. So, or mortise, whatever. And try and sort of reshape this all together. Right, I've got it set up in the button jaws, and see if we can get a mortise on here. Okay, that should do. Okay, all in the jaws. What to do with this, I haven't got a clue. Change this totally, get rid of this, I think. Thin it out. It's near enough an inch thick in places, I should think. Let's see what we can do. That's starting to look a lot more acceptable, I think. Still could thin it out a bit more yet and then take some out the inside. I think that's a big improvement in shape. Right, I'm just going to take some scrapes off the inside now, so take some definitely off the bottom and try and blend the corner in a bit more with the round tip scraper, carbide scraper. Right, I'll just keep working on that until I've got it quite a lot thinner. But the corners are coming on very nicely now. I can feel they're nicely rounded off. Well, I think I'm just going to do a bit more work around this area now. Take some more off there. Try and make that maybe a bit narrower. We'll see how it goes. That's better, nicely blended in now. So just a few final finishing scrapes to do, and polish this one up. There's not a lot else I can do with this one. I think it looks a lot better than the original thing did anyway. Right, I've sanded it down, give it some sanding sealant. Now polishes. Now this is what I usually use. Woodwax 22 chestnut. This tin still got some in it. I've had it for over a year now. It lasts really well. Put it on, wipe it off. But it's about £9 a tin. They also do this microcrystalline wax. It's about the same price but a much smaller tin. You have to put this on and leave it for, they say, up to 20 minutes. Just a fine film over it. Now this I've looked at, it's quite a bit creamier, softer to the touch than the Woodwax 22. This is supposed to be much more water resistant and keeps the gloss, the shine longer. So I'm going to try this microcrystalline wax on this segmented vessel and see what I think of it. Now there are a lot more waxes on the market and polishes. I'm not telling you which one to go and get. There are certain ones people make and I haven't even tried them, so I think they're just a little bit expensive, some of these. So I like a wax to last me a long time. This is going on very easily. It's very smooth. Hardly any on the cloth at all. Like it says on the tin, just a very fine film. And we'll see what it comes out like. I would try other waxes if I could afford a lot of money, but at the moment I'm quite happy with these, and I just want to see how this compares to the Woodwax 22 that I usually use on most of the things. Sometimes I use just a beeswax stick. Depends what's easier to find at the moment. Sometimes I can just put my hand on a beeswax stick and think, oh, I'll use that. Yeah, she's very easy to put on, very smooth. So it's softer than the Woodwax 22. So it does spread a bit easier. So don't worry, I'm not getting paid by Chestnut. I just like to compare things that might suit me. Okay, I'll leave that for a bit now, go and have a cup of coffee, and then I'll come back and polish it up. Right, give it a polish up and see what it comes out like. Well, you can see the shine. Put a bit of extra light on it. There you go. That's very impressive. Lovely finish to it. Yep, I'm really pleased with that. It says apply a second coat if necessary. I really don't think it's necessary. So, out of the 4 old bowls that I thought were so fantastic when I first started turning, I've managed to skim this one right down to about half the thickness, altered the profile of the base and altered the profile of the whole outside really. Got rid of that horrible thick lip that was around the top, give it a nice fresh coat of polish, and it weighs about half what it did. So I'm quite pleased with that now. The second one was the first one I actually did on the video, this little ash bowl. Again, half the weight now, just about the right thickness. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but something will happen. It may be coloured or a bit of pyrography on it, I don't know yet. And the oak bowl, which had a big hole in the bottom. It wasn't actually a hole, but once I touched it I got rid of it. So I've already masked up the bottom because I'm going to fill it with epoxy. I should probably attack this with a Dremel and take out these kind of bits here. There's a big split there, quite a few pieces here that will want really gouging out, another big split there. So I'm going to get some epoxy and colour it with some bronze metal powder. So that's something else I'm going to have a go at. And the fourth one, which I wish the camera had been running when this fell apart. I glued it up and clamped it all up. I'll take the clamps off now. Didn't get very far with it before the this whole chunk decided to come off. However, I've glued it back together. I'm still not going to throw it away. It's a lovely piece of wood. Some lovely markings on that. So that will, you can see how thick it is. I mean, ridiculous really. That will get the same kind of treatment, which will give me another bowl blank to have a go at putting something on it, or a bit of colour or whatever. I haven't decided yet. I shall do that at a later stage, probably tomorrow when I'm sure the glue is actually rock hard. I'll get it back in the lathe and skim that one down to more or less the same as what this one is. Which then gives me some nice little projects to go at, and I can make another video then and show you what I've done with all of the things, well, besides that one because that's finished. The last time I was with you, I think I did some segmented vase showing you how to save the centres of the wood, etc. This is one of them. This is the, if I remember right, ash. And to tell a lie, it's sweet chestnut. I know that because I wrote it on the bottom. I was thinking of actually putting this on the bottom of this little oak bowl and then flood it with epoxy. So it's something else to think about over the next few days. And I've had a good morning's work without using any new wood. I've got, hang on, I've got quite a few lovely blanks up there. I keep looking at them thinking I don't want to waste them yet. So I'll go and find an old bit. I've got lots of wood that's still drying out, a lot of oak. And all these pieces are still not quite dry enough, but those round blanks are shop bought and they're ready to turn. But as I say, I keep finding these old bowls that I thought were, oh, there you are. I thought they were so fantastic when I first started turning, and as you get more experience and time goes on, you look back and think, God, that's really rubbish. But everybody was telling me how nice it was. But that's what you need when you start turning. Encouragement. If everybody just said, they're really crap, what you're bothering turning for, I'd probably give up. So it's nice to get that encouragement when you're starting out. It's nice to get that encouragement when you've been going nearly 18 months now, like I have. I still need encouragement, everybody does. It's nice to get compliments. It's also nice to get a positive reaction on how you can maybe improve things. So I'm glad I never threw any of my first little bowls away, because it's given me something to do over the next few days to think about how I can finish them off. So that's it for now. I think I shall get on with that little oak bowl now, mix some epoxy up. So I'll see you soon for the next one. Take care everybody. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye.